Chapter 10 The Volcanic Pipe. Hartson Brandt and Julius Weiss were still at work in the conference room when Rick and Scotty returned. David Riddle had gone, and the others had evidently not finished placing the tiltometers. The two listened to Rick's story in silence. Then Hartson Brandt sighed. "I don't know how you do it, Rick, but if there's trouble around, you and Scotty will find it. Are you sure the rifleman shot at you?" "We've got a bullet hole in the windshield and one just under the rear seat," Scotty said. "One might be an accident, but not two." "I agree," Hartson Brandt nodded. "Let's see the samples of earth you brought back, Rick." He took both the yellow and blue pieces from his pocket and put them on the table. Hartson Brandt and Weiss examined them with interest. "Unusual," Weiss said. "I think you are right in assuming the yellow is simply an oxidized form of the blue, Rick. But I can't tell you what the material is. I've never seen anything like it before." "The grain is pretty fine," Hartson Brandt added. "It could be igneous or sedimentary in origin. I'm not enough of a rock hound to know. David Riddle can tell us when he returns." "Connell would know, too," Scotty reminded. "He's a geologist. Wouldn't you think he would have mentioned an unusual formation like this when he found it?" "Well, perhaps it's not unusual to a geologist," Weiss pointed out. "Where is Riddle?" Rick asked. "He went to his room a few minutes ago. He should be back shortly, Rick. I think you'd better tell us the whole story. Why do you suspect Connell? Why was it important for you to look at his shot station?" Rick started at the beginning. "It wasn't any one thing. It was a series of little, offbeat things. We thought it was funny he didn't even want company after Ruiz was hurt. Then he reacted so violently when we proposed swapping stations. It just seemed odd. The theft of the tracings bothered us, too. No ordinary thief would steal papers and leave Dr. Williams' wallet in his pocket, or leave his pocket transistor radio and stuff like that." "But you can't connect Connell with the theft of the papers," Weiss objected. "No, sir, we can't. But we almost got caught in the stolen dynamite, and he could have set that off. It was while we were on the way to his third station." Scotty added, "Today, when we got to the station, I took a look along the trail. There's only one bend in it. If he was keeping a watch at the bend, he could have seen us arrive at the second station, hurried down the trail, set off the charge, and then returned through the jungle to get his jeep." "But the fact that he could have does not mean that he did," Hartson Brandt stated. "We can't prove it," Scotty agreed. Rick continued. "Then we trailed him to Casa Guevara. He couldn't have been paying a social call because he wasn't there long enough. What business does he have with Guevara? I don't know, but I'll bet his business is the reason we can't get Guevara to move." "Possibly," Hartson Brandt agreed. "I can see the reason for your suspicions, but you lack proof of anything, Rick. What motive could Connell have?" "We hoped to find that out of the shot station," Rick replied, "but we drew a blank." Dr. David Riddle came into the room and joined them. Before anyone else could speak, the geologist spotted the samples on the table and sucked in his breath sharply. "Where did these come from?" he demanded. "Connell's third shot station," Rick replied. "Do you know what the stuff is?" Riddle sank into a chair and picked up one of the samples, testing it between his fingers. "Yes," he said, "I do. I've seen it only once before, in Africa. It occurs in what is known as a volcanic pipe, actually an ancient channel that gets filled with the stuff for reasons we do not understand." "A volcanic pipe," Hartson Brandt said softly. "Now I'm beginning to see." Rick wasn't. "But what is it?" he asked. "The most valuable kind of ground in the world," Riddle said. "So far as anyone knew up to now, such pipes only occurred in Africa. The one I saw was at Kimberley. The name comes from there. This material is called kimberlite." Rick knew of only one kind of valuable that was associated with Kimberley, and the thought of that was so staggering he was almost afraid to say it out loud. "You mean, this is the stuff diamonds are found in?" "Exactly," Riddle said. Rick fished the handful of crystals from his pocket and stared at them unbelievingly. "Then these," he said hoarsely. "These must be diamonds."